co-founder of the Ministry of Funny, Haresh Tilani. Also co-founder of the Ministry of Funny, Terence, Chia. Let's jump straight into this. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
So let's just get right into it. So can you tell me
Yes.
what inspired you to start making YouTube videos?
I would say after I graduated and Terence, we both came back to Singapore at the same time. And one thing was that we were looking at the local media landscape, and like there was nothing that we found that interesting. And YouTube also was coming up, and then we just figured, yeah, why not just try creating our own and solve the problem that we saw. lah.
Yeah, and there wasn't enough humor in everyday Singapore that we wanted to. So you see a lot of our earlier videos. We took it to the streets. We worked and interacted with everyday Singaporeans to try and make them laugh. You know, just a little bit of laughter a day that helps, right?
Yeah, I think it was actually we started off with humor. Like if you look at our first few videos, we watch it also. We're like, what were we trying to say? So yeah, it was always about making people laugh first, and then we realized humor is a good way to talk about issues that might not be the easiest to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you start talking about social issues then? Like what changed that you wanted to talk about social issues?
I mean, you don't want to save the world. But I think in general, I think one thing that we notice about the videos we make is that often the things that we want to say all revolve around stuff that piss us off on an everyday basis. And I think everyone gets pissed off at things, right? So instead of just complaining and stuff like that, if there's some way to, or if you have an opinion that you want to share, rather than just preach, which is the easiest way to do it, you know, just tell people, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should do this. Just try and make them laugh, and then while they're distracted, then you sucker punch them.
Yeah.
What are some common themes that you guys bring up in your YouTube videos a lot? Like, are there certain trends that you guys, follow?
I mean, more recently, I think terrorism and counter-terrorism are a big part of the videos we do, because we see that there's a bit of a gap in terms of how terrorism is portrayed in mainstream media. In terms of, they always say, oh, terrorists are bad people who join ISIS, they join because they're evil, and that's the narrative out there in mainstream media. And I think there's a lot more nuance to that we try to explore in our videos. You see how we talk about counter-terrorism and things like that.
Like, we're not condoning the activities, but it's just, yeah, it's not as black and white as it seems. So that's where we found comedy to be very useful. We like talking about stuff that many people have a perception of one way, and then we realize, oh, there's this other side that no one else is talking about. Let's try and explore that. So you see any videos we've done about racism, discrimination towards foreign workers, towards the elderly, it always tries to point out something that people may miss otherwise.
So, okay, so you've done a lot of topics like racism, xenophobia, etc. But are there certain topics that tend to be more like crowd-pleasing, or are there topics that tend not to do very well?
Yeah, definitely there are videos that have not done very well. But one thing I would confidently say is that we never just jump onto trends. Unless we really feel strongly about it, or there's something that excites us, we don't jump on it. So it's more we create what we want to create, what we think people will like, rather than, oh, people like this, let's do a video about that. Yeah, that does happen once in a while. We did something on Star Wars.
But Star Wars is a perennial thing that everyone
perennial
discusses and talks about. Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone.
The cool people.
The cool people.
So you can tell between us also we have a lot of differences.
Yeah, I'm cool, he's not cool.
I see, okay.
You know,
okay.
people who have to say they're cool, you know they're really not that cool.
And the people who
are the drunkest people at a party? Always people who say, I'm not drunk. No, I'm not drunk. That's always the case. So I'm fine, he can say.
Okay, alright. Okay, so you said some videos do better than others.
Yeah.
So what is your most popular video? And why do you think it is your most popular video?
I think by views alone, it's something we did about casual racism towards Indians.
Yeah.
We did once which was a lot of real life experiences consolidated into one video. Then the next year we did a trilogy where we looked at awkward situations faced by not only Indians but Malays and Chinese as well. So I think numbers wise, that's the most. But there have been certain ones that really spiked. I think one we did about LGBT issues. It was a very simple premise. Like, we just went on the street and asked straight people questions LGBT people normally get. And yeah, but we didn't have an explicit message, but that, I think within a few days it got more than 1 million views on Facebook. And you have some that just gradually, they keep growing. Like, we have this one video about 7 amazing places in Singapore you would never expect. But the flip side is that they were all filmed in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But because that's a very searchable thing, people are always looking for interesting stuff to do in Singapore. It just continues to grow. lah.
Are there certain videos where you're like, oh, I think this will probably get a lot of views? Like, can you predict your audience's response? Or have there been times where you're surprised by the audience response?
I think, yeah, certain times you kind of know it'll do well, but a lot of times you'll be surprised.
Yeah, and sometimes it just depends on what platform you're putting it on. Saying that between YouTube and Facebook, there are differences as well. I mean, Facebook is probably all the older people who use it, so they need a little bit more context in terms of the text at the top and the bottom of the video. Whereas YouTube people are really subscribing for your channel, your personality, so it's a bit different there.
And Instagram are all the young, cool people.
Yeah.
Facebook is us.
Yeah, Facebook is
It's us.
ours is the WhatsApp. We send WhatsApp messages to the chat group with your mom and your aunts.
On some of your videos, like a little bit of the more controversial ones, I'm sure you get a lot of like trolls or like hate comments. So how do you personally deal with like hate online?
I actually really like reading hate comments. And I think one thing that really helps is that we got into social media when we were in like the 30 already, when I was 30. So I think if I were to get into social media when I'm younger and more impressionable, I think it would be horrible. But now I'm at a point where I love reading hater comments, because to me, if you've taken the time to write that much hate, right, means that we have provoked you in some way. And I think the worst kind of videos are the videos that don't make people feel anything. And you actually get some tidbits of little good pieces of info. Like I found out my eyes are exceptionally far apart from hate comments. Yeah, literally I kept seeing it. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? I went to the mirror, I looked, I was like, oh my god, they actually...
And then you look like Sid from Ice Age.
Sid from Ice
And
Age.
Mesut Ozil, the football player.
I think I got a Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo
and
yeah,
Stitch.
the alien
Yeah,
are the alien.
alien. All these combos. So it gives you time to reflect.
Yeah.
You see a lot of trends on like social media. I'm sure you see it a lot. But do you ever get a sense of like FOMO, or like you feel a bit like left out ever on social media while you're like scrolling through? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I don't think I deal very well with it. Like how I deal with it is, I think a few months ago I moved all my social media icons on my phone to the final. You know, you have to swipe right, because I will totally admit that when I look at Insta stories and all, and if I'm not having the best day, I do feel like, oh crap, these people are living such a great life. What am I doing in my life? And I found that it affects me psychologically as well. So I put it all. I've been playing with the idea of deleting Instagram and downloading it anytime we need to upload something. I think that might be a bit extreme, but yeah, I don't think I deal the best with it. Some people can just switch off and look. Yeah, I don't know. But
Dealing with FOMO. I guess, yeah, every time a new app comes out, let's say like TikTok comes out or something like that, and then I really feel like I'm that old person who's like, oh, how do you use TikTok, that kind of thing. So that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, because we treat it almost as work, right? Like where we have to learn this new tool. They're just tools to help us reach new audiences as well. So in that sense, when you know it's work, you just deal with it and you try not to run from it. But you got to compartmentalize it and make sure it doesn't compromise who you are as a person.
I think YouTube had a recent update where they said they're going to start rounding up or rounding down subscriber numbers, which I think is a great step in the right direction, because right now, before this, it feels like everything is about the numbers and all that. Even Instagram is considering, which I don't think will ever happen, removing the number of likes. Yeah, which I think would be a great step in the right direction.
Okay, so let's talk more generally about YouTube as a whole. So just to start off, how do you make money off YouTube?
No, we actually don't. We're just doing this out of pure passion.
Well, they're asking earnestly.
I know. I start with that. That's
hope
just
for the future. Yeah. Talk about passion. Passion can eat.
Hey, passion made possible. Okay, Singapore's all that. Passion made possible. So there's a variety of ways. I think the most common for markets where there are YouTubers with millions of views and millions of subscribers, they can make money off just ads. In Singapore, I don't think there's any YouTuber who can just live off ads. So there's branded content that we do. So when a client or brand sees our videos and they say, oh, they kind of like our style and they work with us on a campaign, and then we create a video that's in our style, but it's also marketing a product of theirs. Then there's I think that's the main chunk.
So one of the most important things like about influencer marketing, like partnering with brand stuff, is staying authentic and transparent to your audience. So do you have like do's and don'ts when trying to accept brands? how to stay authentic to your audience at the same time?
I think being very, like, we talk a lot about our approach to videos, and normally I would say 99% of the videos we make, we and the rest of our team are always on board by it, and it's not just about one person's interest. And to us, that's important because then you make sure that it's something that is in line with the brand. So after doing that for years, we kind of know what we want to do, the issues we care about. So we have had certain gigs where they would ask us to do it in a particular format, like a listicle type thing, which we don't really normally do a lot of. And because whatever you put out there, it does affect your brand, right? So it always comes back to, okay, does this do anything for our brand? Does it talk about a cause that interests us? Or is it something that we find super funny?
Yeah, I mean, we've been sometimes asked about to just do product placements in our videos, and generally we don't really enjoy it because we actually like the process of working with brands and clients, finding out what their story is, who the people are behind it, what are they exactly trying to sell to the world, what's the experience they're trying to sell, and then if we can integrate that into something funny, that's the best for us, rather than, oh, here's like some orange juice that we drink every day because Singapore is hot. Yeah. That's kind of lame to us.
I think I don't even know how to approach stuff like that. Whenever I see posts, they're like looking out a window, they're like, the world is out there for you, but in the meantime, I enjoy sitting. And oh, look, I'm sitting on a couch, which you can get for. And I'm like, wow, how it's a skill, to segue from something so philosophical. And yeah, I cannot imagine us doing that.
You say now, later when your marriage or everything is all sponsored, your whole wedding sponsored.
You see my wedding photo shoot all looking out windows,
So another thing that Ministry of Funny was kind of known for is that you were the only Singaporean channel to be involved in YouTube's Creators for Change program. So can you tell me more about like how the process worked, like how you got into the program and what it entailed and things like that?
I mean, YouTube basically has a lot of creators, right? And they're all focused on different parts of different things, and they wanted to work with creators who were interested in things like social justice and social
justice warriors.
Social issues, and global issues, and people who had stuff to say beyond just like, oh, this is my life and this is how things are. So what they did was create this program where they would identify several creators from every country and actually put them as part of this global program and give a little bit of funding to create some content that tackles a certain theme. And I think that theme that it was xenophobia, right?
Yeah, xenophobia, hate speech, and racism, I think the three.
So for us, I mean, we've always been, even without that, before that, we were already doing these topics. And so quite naturally, when this program was announced, we were asked to also, apply for it and to be part of the program. That was basically the application process. I mean, and it was fantastic going there to London and meeting the other creators.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about social media culture now. So I feel like if I started opening YouTube right now, all I would see is like stuff about drama, tea channels spilling the tea on other influencers. So can I just know like what you think about cancel culture now?
Okay, so tea
spilling channels. Like.
You don't know? They just spill the tea on other channels. Basically, they talk crap about it.
Oh, is it? That's what it's called, tea
spill
spilling.
Tea, yeah. The cancel culture. I mean, my understanding of cancel culture is when there's a lot of backlash against cancel.
Yeah.
Right, but then the whole drama thing. What you mean?
Like for example, if somebody does one thing wrong, they're cancelled, and then they can never come back from it again.
Oh yeah, the whole path to redemption thing. Yeah. Wow, that one is a tough thing because I mean, even outside of YouTube, there's all this question on like how do people who screw up in the public eye and redeem themselves. But YouTube itself, I think sometimes people can be, can jump to conclusions too fast. And what I don't like about this sort of shitting on each other is that it's always a one-sided thing. Like if it's a conversation between two people who have totally different viewpoints, I think that can be so much more constructive. But if this channel in their own room or studio is filming something shitting on this other channel, and then the other channel responds, and it's always, then to me, I'm just sick of that. Sick of that.
Yeah, it's a very us versus them kind of approach to things, as opposed to I don't agree with this person, I should meet with this person, discuss our differences, and then see whether I can convince him otherwise. Yeah. So that doesn't happen anymore. But it's very easy to find allies for this, to throw tomatoes alongside you at this other person. and that's I think is it's not good lah.
It is dangerous. Like, I mean, even recently, a few months ago, the Gojek driver versus the girl thing. I mean, both of them were guilty of certain things, or at least I feel that. But there was one person who clearly came out the winner, and the other person who's now like she's going to be known as Gojek girl for the rest of her life. And I've heard, I don't know whether it's true that she's relocated to New Zealand or something, which is ridiculous. And yeah, it's all about the one-sided thing, and you see it everywhere outside of YouTube, like in politics. I mean, it all look at the greatest democracy in the world. You're either one side or the other, and it's everything trickles down from there. Like there's one heavy metal group wants to come to Singapore. Someone says, "Oh no, cannot!" Everyone gets behind that, and then it's just like, what the hell? Like if both parties took the time to understand each other, they would realize that it's actually not as big a deal, and it is not us versus them as they thought. So it's really super annoying, but I don't think it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We
Pleasure.
had a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in this video produced by Social Space. We hope you will join us in our next video.